For today's video, I have three trashy old desktop computers that are no more good, totally obsolete, and I wanted to do something a little more fun than just chucking them in my dumping bin. So I've set up an air cannon. This time it's my biggest air cannon, based on a fire extinguisher tank and an 1.25 inch ball valve, which is going to be opened by a spring, so it'll open fairly quickly. The barrel I've chosen for today is my 8-foot long 25mm thick-walled aluminum barrel. So this has been mounted to the cannon, and this is what I'm going to attempt to have some fun with some rotten, nasty old computers with. Here's a look at the breech loading area of the cannon. My chosen slug here is cast hard lead alloy, 25mm in diameter, and it has a weight of 3,200 grains. Hopefully it's up to the task. 3 computers are waiting. I of course have some more slugs ready, because since when is one shot ever enough? Gotta have more. Here's an overview of the target area, about 10 meters downrange in the shop. At the left I have a video light sitting on a paint can, and then just behind that is the tripod for the slow motion camera that'll be looking at the impact on the targets. In the middle here we have 3 old PCs, one behind the other, almost like a Whipple shield setup. I'll take a better look at the PCs in a moment. And then off to the side here, yes, there's yet another video light to light up the front. So let's take a better look at the PCs. As you can see, these are 3 old beater PCs. The hard drives have been removed. Hard drives are more fun to shoot separately in another video. I also kept the RAM to use in some other PCs, but other than that, the motherboards are in, the CPUs are in, 2 of them even have power supplies, and there's floppy drives and currently useless CD-ROM drives in these. So there's plenty of stuff for that big lead slug to run into. Maybe it's time we went and saw what's gonna happen. I think for today's video I'll set up the high-def camera right here, just looking in sort of at a diagonal angle at the 3 computers. Normally I have the high-def camera back near the cannon, but with a different target today, I think I'll try having the high-def camera downrange over here. Well, we'll see if this idea is any good. Well, the compressor's been getting to pressure. I'm at about 425 psi and climbing. I'm going to fire at 475 to 500 psi for that 3,200 grain slug. So, should be ready to fire in a moment. Everything's working and recording. Actually, I'll fire at 500 psi for this first shot. I have 500 psi ready to fire. something worked. Hit dead center where I aimed. So, we'll see what happened. The first shot was fired successfully, and as you can see from the huge hole in the center of the first computer, I hit where I aimed, and the slug went through the second computer, hit the side of the third one, inflicting only a tiny dent, which I'll show in a moment. You can see the slug on top of the first computer, because it simply fell to the floor and landed. It's largely undamaged. I will repressurize the cannon, and I will fire the same 3200 grain hard alloy cast lead slug again. Here's a look through the hole. We can see right through two computers. That big heavy slug sure made a great big hole dead center. Here's a quick look at the exit hole and bulged out other side of the first computer. Here you can see the entry hole into the front side of the second computer and old Hewlett-Packard Pavilion. As you can see, the third computer only got a little dent in its steel side panel. The slug had run out of steam after passing through two PCs. So, time to shoot again. Now I'm getting ready for the second shot. The compressor's on, but it takes a while to get up to the 500 psi, and I'm going to take it up to 500 again for shot number 2. Again, I'll be using the same 3200 grain hard cast alloy lead slug because it was not at all damaged by the first shot. So I'll pick up the video when I have firing pressure of 500 psi. I'm nearly at firing pressure for the second shot, so got the camera started for slow motion. I'll head back, load the cannon, and I'll be firing at 500 psi with the same 3200 grain lead slug. I have 500 psi, and I'll be firing very shortly. And again, it seems a successful shot that hit where it was aimed. Seems to be some damage. We'll take a better look. This time we got through the first two computers again and did a wee bit of damage to number 3. We can also see that the slug just dropped to the floor again, and it's lying there on the carpet. Maybe it's still good. I wouldn't mind firing it a third time at these computers. But let's take a better look at the damage and then fire a third shot. Well, the front hole's a lot bigger, and it's easier to see right through these machines now. This time, dead computer number 3 took some damage because there was a nice hole through the first 2 computers from the first shot, and I aimed in the same place. My slug got through easily and got into, but did not fully pass through computer number 3. Well, it looks like on further investigation of computer number 3, I'm wrong. The slug did fully penetrate it. There's the back panel on floor leaning against the backstop. The slug did zip right through it. It hit the backstop and then rolled onto the carpet where you saw it lying a moment ago. So I did get right through all 3. PC number 3 actually got hit a lot harder than I thought by that second shot. The CPU and heatsink fan was blown out onto the floor, along with some connective cables and bits of other wiring and circuitry were blown out. Since the slug survived, I'm going to use it for the 3rd shot, but I think this time I'll pick a different aim point. Don't know if I'll go higher or lower, but well, we'll see. This time I've decided to aim lower on the PCs, so I'm bringing the air cannon back up to 500 psi. I'll then load the slug in and pick up the video again at that point for shot number 3. I'm just about ready for shot number 3, nearly at 500 psi. I'll be reusing the same 3200 grain hard alloy lead slug. So I'll go back to where the cannon is and load it up, get ready to fire. Shot number 3. I'll be aiming a little lower on the computers this time. I have 500 psi. I'll go shoot. Well, it looks like I hit as intended. I shot lower and I clearly hit lower on the first PC. So let's have a look at the damage from shot number 3. Another great big hole torn through the first PC by that massive slug. And there's the exit hole on the other side of the computer. There's the entry hole into computer number 2. As we can see, shot number 3, aimed at a downward angle, hit at the very bottom of computer number 3 and just dented and crushed in the steel panel, but did not enter computer number 3 this time. The slug itself is again just sitting on the carpet, ready to be reused. For this 4th shot, I've changed the order of the computers. The first one has been moved to the back. The middle one is where it's always has been, in the middle. And I've put the black one up front because I wanted to give it more damage than just dents and little holes. I'm just about at my firing pressure of 500 psi. This time I'm going to aim higher than the middle rather than aiming really low like last shot. So let's go fire again. Well, I'm at pressure and ready to fire. So let's go shoot. Well, everything went flying this time. Should have been able to damage that first PC. And PCs went flying all over with that shot. There appears to be a CPU on the carpet now. Let's keep going. I'll keep the PCs in the same order as the previous shot, with the black one still in front. A lot of guts are starting to fly out onto the floor. Should be interesting. I'm just about at 500 psi here, so we'll shoot yet again with the computers still arranged the same way. Then I may switch up the order of them again and do something different. But let's go shoot. Same slug, 500 psi, let's go. Well, that trashed everything again. Everything fell down. Interesting. I'll have to set it all up again. Well, for this next shot, I've made a bit of a change to the target setup. I'll shoot through the first computer, through the face of it. I'll probably aim at the CD-ROM drive and try and hit it. And the black one is at the back again, because the front and back sides are blown right off it. So we'll shoot at them in this configuration for this shot. 500 psi on the same 3200 grain lead slug coming right up. At the very last minute, I decided to take the side off the front computer so we can see in with the video cameras. Just about at 500 psi, so let's go shoot again. open. Seemed to do some damage here. I don't see a CD-ROM drive in there anymore. Guess I was shooting accurately that time. I aimed at it and I actually hit it. There is where the slug wound up. I actually hit the CD-ROM drive in the front computer right in the drawer with that heavy slug. Now this front computer still has a floppy drive left here. I'll try and aim at that. I just don't know whether my accuracy will be as good, but let's see. We're coming back up to pressure, so I'll have a go. I'm nearly at 500 psi, so I'll head back to the cannon and I will attempt to hit in the floppy drive. Small target at 10 meters for the cannon. Don't know if I can hit it, but I should be able to hit close to it at least. We'll see. I'm at pressure. I will now go and fire. Well, the PCs didn't move much this time, and I shot just below the floppy drive, so I'll recover my slug, and I will try again to be a little more accurate. Well, my slug got totally mutilated on that shot. The back end of it's all torn apart and mangled. This one's going to have to be melted down and recast, but I do have some others, so we can keep going. I'm just about ready to fire again, and I will be trying for that floppy drive that I shot just underneath with the last shot. Well, let's go try again, see if I can hit the floppy drive. Damn, this time I think I did hit it dead on. I do not see a floppy drive installed in this computer anymore. Excellent. These computers were certainly badly damaged by today's fun and games. I should thank my friend Dawn at this point for providing these 3 dead PCs that were the subject of today's video entertainment. I was actually able to hit that floppy drive dead center. with my second shot at it, totally took it out. As we can see, there's been considerable damage and shredding and ripping with ribbons of metal torn out and all sorts of damage. CPU fan. All sorts of junk in the bottom, massive holes in the motherboard. Yeah, the power supply looks like it got smashed in and torn apart. Now, I think we did a pretty good job on scrapping this first computer. There's some of the side panels that were on the computer, some pretty big nasty holes blasted in them. This was the middle computer, that Hewlett-Packard Pavilion. It's got massive holes in it from top to bottom. And here's a look into that PC. Looks like I missed the power supply and might be able to salvage it, make it into a 12 and 5 volt bench supply. The last computer, the black one, well, its motherboard shredded, CPU and cooling fan gone. It never had a power supply in it. It had been salvaged already. And there's all manner of interesting bits and pieces on the floor here. Shredded remains of computer. Yeah. Scrap microprocessor now. We'll just take a last look around. There's another CPU cooling fan and heatsink. Just all manner of destruction on these dead old PCs. This was definitely a lot more fun than just throwing them in the garbage. Definitely. Well, there's the BIOS from one of the machines, blown right out of the board. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks, Don, for the PCs. And there'll be more dead electronics of some sort in another video coming soon. Here's what's left of the sled from that CD drive that I hit dead center. One of the laser diodes is still in here, but mangled. The other laser diode was blown right out of the sled. It won't be... Well, at this point it's all over for today, but a quick shop vac cleanup and I'll be ready to make the next video. Won't be much longer, and there'll be more to watch.